What? Oh, corn. What? Oh, wow. Use a chicken wheel. What do you say? Go here.
What is that? It's a marketing room, right?
But there's no corn in there.
Because it's not spreading yet.
It has to grow.
Okay, so now everyone look for animals. You're going to see animals.
You don't want to know. I hate cows. There are no cows inside. There's something in there. That's the bird. Yeah, because it's not very cold.
You don't need the bird.
Something's moving in there. Yeah, something is moving.
I saw pigs.
I just did it.
Donuts. The donuts.
Hi, Ducky. Donuts.
They're ducks.
They're ducks.
Donuts.
I brought donuts right now. I'm gonna go inside of there. You dare touch it? Huh? I did. Justin. Pigs now. I love pigs. I love pigs.
What the heck is it?
Duck.
Oh, it's a pig.
That's what. Look.
It's over there. One's over there.
Hey! Stop screaming at each other. One line on your right. One line on your right. One line. Make it happen.
Look,
One
and I
line on
see
your right.
ducks.
Move back. Everybody's gonna see. Just move back. Move back. Make it work.
I see two.
Move back, man. Move back.
He got a full shot.
I can't see it.
Screaming.
You want to zoom in so you can see
It's not watering, is it?
It's more over there.
I can't.
No, some of them are outside, and some of them are in here.
Oh, look at that little one.
I think the wild one
Is that the top one?
they're on the third box. They're all laying eggs. So cute.
Can we take turns?
Alright guys, can I go? Say bye to the big bad.
Bye, Rooster. Bye, Rooster. Bye, terrible morning away.
Let's go. Let's go. Watch your mouth. He's not gonna do nothing. He's not leaving that place.
All I see is
He's
toes.
just eating.
Like regular toes.
Where are their reporters? My reporters, where you at? Talk. Okay.
I see one of these.
Come here. All right, listen, explorers. Shh.
Listen, explorers.
Listen. Shh. Turn around.
All right, as you see, we have a things. My name's Miss Linda. I will guide you here and there, okay? I want you to know behind you, those are Jersey calves. They're not even, well, they're about a year old, okay? So they were born like last September. The one behind you is called Mischief or Chiff. And her mom is quite like 13 years old now, okay? So Calico. And then we have another one called Carly, okay? So these two stay together, okay? They're quite close and friends. Now, maybe I ask you a question? Why do we have cows on the farm?
To milk the cow. And make corn. To make cheese. To make yogurt. And butter. And butter. And butter. Cheese. And buttermilk.
One at a time.
Listen, first of all, we have to make some rules. You can't scream and yell with the animals. It gets them upset.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Okay,
next.
so
Right.
please don't scream and yell at them, and don't scream and yell anywhere.
Yes,
If you have an answer, if you know what an answer is, just raise your hand and she will pull on you. Don't scream out.
Very good. We do have rules, and another thing is we don't want you like running all over the place either, okay?
Okay.
Because we have
Stay
a lot of
together.
gravel down here. All right, so somebody did say yogurt, that's true, but somebody said butter.
I
say
no,
butter?
that was him.
Okay,
I said
good.
milk.
Cheese.
And that's
We actually make cottage cheese here before. We make ice cream, and yes,
Milk?
butter. We milk the cows.
drinking milk.
But the cows, the milk we get from our cows, we use for butter making. And that's why over 100 years ago, if you can count that far back, like 1881, or even 1920s rather, Mr. Foster went over to the Jersey Isle. Do you know where that is?
No.
Do you have any idea? Between England and France? And he bought like 20 herd of Jersey cows because he knew they were good in butter making, okay? Now I know you're excited, so what we're going to do is walk down here. And now remember,
You need to be quiet so you can listen.
quite big. His name is Tom Turkey. You'll have to take turns taking a picture, then step back for others to see, okay? That's what you're going to have to do here on some of these animals.
You two down. See it?
That's the
And
video.
then it's
The
back.
hen that's
That's
laying
the
on
videos of the cameras. You're up first taking a picture. Move over.
Remember Freebird?
Cameras and videos are in the front. Everybody else step back.
It's a turkey. It's a wild turkey.
Take your picture.
John, take a picture, step back.
When you finish taking your picture, guys, move out of the way and let everyone else see.
It's a girl wild turkey. I mean, it's a I see an egg. How you know? I saw a video. I barely could see. Oh my god. Somebody said Ezra.
This is where they would do equipment. If you don't look. This is all part of our new building here, okay? And this is how they would do corn husking, and also they would do shredders, which this is the old pits. This is what was under the building. You can come in, there's enough room.
Is there owls here?
You can have it. We have somewhere, I don't know where.
I found owls back there. In the other place over there.
Now listen, so you understand, we're not going to stay here, but let me explain something.
Listen, please.
This is how they would take in the day. They have steam engines and so forth to take the kernels off the cob for the animals, okay? Later, I don't know who's going to do it, but we usually grind the corn up to feed the chickens. But this is all done by equipment. So All right, so you can see pictures behind you, and over here, right here, there is some equipment right here with the shredders. Right? Under here would be, in the old days, like an open pit, and that was used to feed the animals. All the food was done on a fodder. They would chop up anything for greens, and they would store it underneath for the food for the winter.
Turkey. It's a turkey.
All right, let's go to the other part.
Take a picture. It's following us. A python. The cat can walk anywhere.
Okay, boys and girls, what do you think this is? Let's wait for everyone to come on over. Tell what this is.
That's how they take a bath, I think.
Remember we talked about the water? Can we just turn on a working farm? Can you just go and turn on the water faucet like we have at home? What did they have to do? Remember we discussed this in class?
They had to put water inside this.
They had to pump the water from a well. And this is kind of what this is. This pumps water into that little tub there, and that's how they get their water. What do you think is over here? What's going on here? What are they doing?
It's plants.
They're growing crops. What does it look like to you?
It's
I'm not really sure. What is that, Mr. Lacko? And do you see some of the gardening tools? Does it look like gardening tools? Does it look like gardening tools that we use today? Some are, some aren't. So these are, Miss Faraday, what is this? Do you know? Is it lettuce?
It's definitely I think it's a beet. The red ones are beets.
Okay.
And then the ones that are next to it.
That's an onion. Yes, it is an onion.
And we talked about growing onions. This is where they're growing their onions over here.
I don't know what's clean and not clean.
That's
But
an
that's
onion.
an onion.
Here. This is an onion. This is what they're growing in there. See?
Under the ground.
It grows under the ground.
Wait. Does it grow like
Good
a
job,
big stem?
Justin.
Yay!
Okay.
Does it grow like a big stem?
I'm taking a picture. This grows underneath the bulb part. This is what we do. Okay, so we're going to go up the hill and look at some flowers in their garden and the house up there.
Now we're here twice.
We could go there again.
Oh, what's that?
A snake! A snake! Guys, look! That's a snake!
Alright, so we can't touch it. But this would be where you can get the water.
That scared me about
We
this.
can't touch it, but this is how it works. You would take this and you go
No, it died. It's
like this.
Again, it'll squirt water. See? She said goodbye. See, water The buns are coming out.
Don't touch, Norman. Only I could touch.
There's
it. Don't
still
touch
water
it.
in there.
This Pierce,
What?
this is
You
dead.
can watch it.
So we're gonna circulate. You can come in and circulate, okay? Stop. Stop. One line. This was her cottage where she wrote. She did a lot of writing in here. Alice and Emma Foster.
They used to build birdhouses out of wood.
Okay, now go out. You've got to move. Make a line so people can go out.
Oh, it feels so cool.
This was her cottage where she would come and write her book. She used to write or read. And this is Alice and Emma, and then Caroline Colonial. This is her garden.
Where was she?
This is a picture of her here.
When did
She
she
would sit here
die?
and read.
Did she die? She died in 1997?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what we read.
Because the house burned. The house burned down and they built it back up. Yeah, because I was
Daisy. Who said daisies? Amir, you're right. They're daisies. And this was Alice Foster's garden. So she would come out. They've all passed away. But this house is where she used to come and read her books and write whatever she was writing. This was her little escape from the main house. And she would come here. She worked on her garden, and she had her piece of part where she could write her novels and she could read her books. And this is the garden that she actually.
I have this flower at home. Ready.
They keep the ice over there.
They probably do.
We have to keep walking. Oh, I just want to take my. But I was covered myself. I want to take a bath. What's that? To the pool, so yeah. I want to tell everyone. I'm getting it. Okay, I need some shade. You are. Black hair. I don't think we could. I don't think so. Because it might break, son. And then you're going to have to get it.
Justin, which house burnt down? The Willows or the cottage? And was rebuilt? Do you remember what house burnt down?
College. The other one.
Do you remember what house burnt down?
I just said that. Look.
Was it the Willows?
No, the house
Or was it the cottage?
cottage.
You're right.
That door is locked. I wish we could go.
I guess we can't go.
Oh, I see his.
If you're not going to follow rules and procedures, then you can't be here.
Three of them. There's the leader now. They didn't say it. No, what? Monkey goats.
They can sit on the bench. That'll give them a little rest. Are you all going to fit?
No, this is good. So if you don't have a seat, you're just going to have to stand in back.
All right.
Maybe we can fit everyone in. Okay. Thank you, Norman. That was really nice of you. Okay, so now voices are off. We're listening.
Now you're coming over to milk our fake cow. We don't have visitors milk our real cows because that's what the farmer does. And our cows were milked early this morning, so they're not even ready, even if we wanted to milk them. All right, you're going to be milking this cow that has a name. Woody. See why she's named Woody?
Because it's made out of wood.
Got it. All right. Now, if you saw a real cow, did you get down in the barn yet? Did you get down in the barn to see
We
the
didn't.
cows?
We're going that now.
Okay. All right. If you look underneath the cow, toward the back part, toward her hind legs, hanging down is what is called the udder. This is a make-believe udder. We're using a bucket. And what do you see hanging down here? First of all, how many do you see hanging down? Four. And these are called teats. The milk comes through the udder, and then with the help of either a machine or people's fingers, they can get the milk out of the udder and through the teats. Now, our milk is not real milk. It's really
Water.
with a make-believe cow. We have make-believe milk that's water. So when you come up here, and we'll get you lined up in a minute, the best way to do this is to pinch the lower part of the teat. Just pinch pretty hard. Do 3 pinches, and then the next person will do it.
Okay, I think we'll just start with here. We'll start right here.
Well, what we do is get a line of boys and a line of girls, and we can do it on both sides.
Oh, great. Okay, so do you want like 4, 5, or just
Well,
one
if we
all
can get, we got another group coming in. All right.
Yeah.
All right. What I can do? How about a line of boys behind me?
Okay, behind Miss.
Yeah.
You're doing you're not in our group. We'll use Barrett. We'll get you guys in a minute, okay? So she's going to teach you how to do it.
All right. The boys are over here,
My girls, come over here.
and we need a line of girls behind me.
There's only 2. I only have 2 girls.
Oh,
I have 1 boy.
maybe we could get some boys over to even it up a little. Times. And then when you're done, I'm going to have these grown-ups show you what to do. I'll show them what to do, and I'll take the other group over to the upper barn. I don't think they've been up there. I'll show them something else while they're in wait mode, okay? So, let's have one gentleman over here and one lady over here, and then we'll show how we're going to work this part.
Okay, do you know how to do it?
Okay.
3 squirts. Go ahead.
Another adult in this group?
No, he's actually videoing, but okay, go ahead. Yeah, they can watch, and then you can watch. Next.
I'll get one.
Okay, you're done. Go.
You're done, come over here.
Go ahead, Sharif. Come on, Kenneth. Zion, separate. Go. Did you go now, son? Zion? Yeah. Go, we're going to do the feathers in a second.
Whoops.
You hit the side of a curve.
Yeah, I got a rim, but not the button.
Yeah, you didn't put
And when you're done, I need you to come over here, okay? All right, this young man's going to go first. Almost. All right. Now, would you be the one that picks them up for me? All right. And you're going to take it to the next person. Thank you. All right. Just don't be the target. Give them plenty of room. Oh, like that. Okay, try to hit the bucket. You gotta be careful. So what kind of aim right? Okay, son, you're gonna stand back over by me.
See the water comes out? That's like how they actually would melt a real cow.
Okay.
Everyone know what to do?
All right. See a target from somebody. Step way back. Step back a little bit, son, even though you're the helper. Okay, we're going to stand behind that pole.
Stand behind the
Step back a little bit. There you go. All right.
You just got it. You just hit the curve.
Almost.
You went.
Very good. Let's see who can actually get two. That's hard to do.
Get over here and try your shoe.
That's what some little kids do too.
You need to pull
We
that
did it
other string
earlier.
through, because one is too short.
Not quite.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go sit and try.
Good shot.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, you're going to join us over here.
On this side. Come
Join
over
us
here.
over here. Then I know you're done.
Go ahead, Abdul.
A little more oomph. All right.
That almost hit me when I hit it.
Come on this side.
This look like here. I have a shot many times.
No, you look like
I tried. What's it gonna say for me?
Oh, okay.
Good.
Okay.
Right on this side.
Don't hit my face. Oh, it's green.
Wow. Good shot.
You hit it.
Wow. Very good. He's the first one to get two. Very good. Over to this young man. Let's see, is this the new group waiting? Okay. Do you want to just come on over here and make a line behind me? We're about finished with that group.
So I'm going to take my book down there now.
Okay, you prefer just to move on?
Well, they can stay together.
Confuses who.
It's okay.
Now, before we step in, you're going to help me do a chore with cleaning, okay? We're going to first look up as you go in and see a sleigh. All right, come on
That
over.
side went to
Look up. See it?
How do they used to get up there? Where?
See, everybody asked me that question. And the answer to that is, if you step over here a little bit, you can see a pulley and rope. See?
So he used to hold on to it.
Yes. Hook it on, and then they would slide it down. We won't do that today because I don't think it could make the trip, to be honest with you. Now, I want to introduce you to, have you seen Calvin and Hobbes out in the field? Well, this is our workhorses. They're Belgian draft horses. And they work the farm. Here's Farmer Rob, and they're mowing the lawn here. Now, Calvin Hobbes, when they work the farm, whether plowing or doing this, or giving carriage rides, we usually give them a bath. So it's not just about riding or so forth. You have to take care of equipment. So over here, if you look on the table, what does this look like to you? Do you have an idea? Well, it's part of these harness straps, if you look over here. What part of the body do you think this goes on to the horse? Do you have an idea?
The head.
No, the head. What part, though? Not the
neck.
neck.
The neck.
The neck. It's actually called a horse collar. So if you were to look for that over here, you have to look along to see where the horse collar would be. That would fit. It's like a puzzle, putting a puzzle together.
I smell dust in here.
All right? Now, to clean this, you have to either take, which has lanolin in it, sheep's wool, right? And you wipe down the harness. Or you can take a cloth that would have the saddle soap on it, and you would rub it and buff it. So you may have a choice of either one, any of you, to do that. So go ahead. To know what it's like to clean the horse collar.
Everybody's picking up the towel.
They have to buff it, make sure it's nice and smooth, because the horses like to feel good too, you know, just like you when you take a bath. Do horses sweat?
No.
Do pigs sweat?
No.
Yes.
No, they don't.
Well, the pigs don't, they don't have a sweat gland, so that's why they lay in mud, okay? But the horses, yeah, they sweat like us.
The mud.
No,
I
they
know why
don't lay
they-
in mud, just the pigs.
I know why the pigs lay mud, because when they get
Now,
hot, they just
come on over here when you're done and look at the pictures. Okay. That is actually a picture of all the carriages and Miss Foster, Caroline Foster with her horse. Once you've looked at them, come and sit down over here.
Oh, this is the horse.
Yes, you're right. And the coachman's livery outfit. Now just watch the glass, don't bang the gas. That's it. Just sit for a minute, get cooled off. Make room. Okay. All right, now I want to mention to you. All right. Do any of you go horseback riding?
No.
Yeah. What kind of saddle do you use? Do you know? Is it equestrian with, is it western, like a big pommel on top? Oh, it is, okay. Do any of you go equestrian riding, like English saddle? Okay. But Miss Foster, she was equestrian, but however, she would just do this is just 1 foot stirrup. And her other leg would have to cross over. It's called side saddle. So they actually cross the other leg over and sit side saddle like this to ride the horse. She would wear a special outfit, which is over here. It's a riding habit. It's a long skirt. They weren't allowed to show their legs during that time period, so that's what she would have to use, a riding habit. So you see it right here? She would take that side saddle, her dog, and her coachman, Andrew Gibbons, who is a big Irishman, and they go on this cart. It's a high wicker tandem gig. It's very hard to get into. And they had to use 2 horses. The horse closest to them was the one that did all the pulling. He's the wheeler. The horse on the end was like a resting horse, which is the one Miss Foster would use for the fox hunt, okay? These other 2 carriages, a gentleman's carriage and a runabout on the side, was her favorite, by the way. Miss Foster would use around here in the farm, or she'd go into Morristown, okay? Do you have a question?
Yeah, how will they put the food down when
It's
they
very hard. They have to go, there's 2 people that have to lift that up to get it over. It's a shaft. It's very hard. What are the carriages? I'm sorry, one more question. Go ahead.
Did the horse, did the people let the horse, race and everything?
Racing during that time? Yeah, they would have that kind of thing. But let me ask you a question, though. What type of material do you think is on a carriage? What is made, what's a carriage made of? Go ahead. Wood. Very good. Yes, and how about on the tire itself? Is it like your bicycle? Yes. So the carriages were made, the wood was the spokes and the tire of rubber, which would lead eventually to a Model T Ford, okay, which Miss Foster did own, okay? I want to let you know that. So we have a transportation tube just before you go up to the, so you know, before you go up the steps, you look over, it says transportation tube with her Hupmobile and Model T Ford if you want to go see it, okay? All right? You were very good guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you learned something today here. It's a little warm, I know. A little too warm.
Quietly sit down, no running, you're walking.
So you had a long bus ride out, huh?
Move over a little bit to your bed. Yeah, we had a little issue with the bus.
When you came through our building, the visitor center, you came back to 1915 when you walked through those doors. That's what we're showing you here on the farm. There's no electricity in the houses or in the barns. There are only candles, lanterns. When you get in the farmhouse, the only way they cooked was on a big old wooden stove that was red hot. So it was not comfortable. It was great in winter. But no electricity, no water. I all the water came out of wells. That's only a pretend one. Wells would be dug deep in the ground and you'd have to pump the water up. If you wanted it to a drink of water, to wash your hands, to cook your food, to feed the animals some water, you had to do all the pumping, bring it up into big buckets, and then either heat it to make hot water or use it cold. Monday for me, here on the farm, it's always Monday because I do the laundry every Monday. That's the time the laundry was done. Tuesday was ironing and mending. Wednesday was baking and preserving. Everybody had a chore, everything went routine. So what we're going to do today, you can help me pump the well a little bit, about 4 pumps each. And, oh, my clothes are still on the line. Let's get clothes off the line first. Couple of volunteers?
2 volunteers. Everyone sit down. Justin and Keziah. Everyone else sit down.
There you
Justin
go.
and Keziah. Everyone else
Bring
sit
them down.
2 volunteers.
And throw the clothespins in here. You can
You'll
bring
all
them
get an
down this way on the
opportunity.
pulley.
You just need to wait your turn.
That's it. Clothespin in there, pull it down, and hook it together.
We'll all get a turn. You just need to be patient. I promise.
Kind of pretending today. Monday was wash day. You got, Saturday was the day you got a bath. 1 day a week you got a bath.
How many days a week do you guys take baths? Should every night.
Right?
I only go like every week.
Okay,
Yep.
so listen. So
All
you do
right.
that now.
So remember, you would have to, you can throw them in here. Whoops, throw them in here. You would have to pump the water, which was ice cold from underground, take it in the house, warm it up on the stove, the wood stove, and then pour it into a tub that looked a little smaller than what you see up there by the well. If you were this child that got the best grades in school that week, that got all their chores done correctly, were the ones that helped out, you could have the first bath in the nice, clean, warm water. All your brothers and sisters, there were 4 girls that lived here, used that same water on Saturdays to take their bath. You didn't get clean ones all the time. So for Sunday morning, you could put on your good clothes. Sunday would go to church. There would be visitors here in the house. That was a day of rest. And on Monday, you'd put on your work clothes or your school clothes. And those clothes you put on Monday, you wore all week pretty much. You'd really have to have a good excuse to change them. So as I say, come Monday morning, it's wash day. So come on up. I'll show you here.
Do you want a couple at a time?
Well, no, we'll get them busy.
Okay.
This is the only washing machine.
Make a line.
You'd have a bunch of soap, and this would be all sudsy water. Once you're done scrubbing with the soap, you wring it out. One hand forward, the other hand back. Get as much soap out of it.
That's soap.
Well, we're pretending. Take it over to the rinse water, do the same thing, and then hang it on the line. Okay, take one. Some of these could be the farmer's jeans. There's one over here too.
And are they gonna
Hang them up.
And when you're done, you can go hang them on the.
These are the farmer's jeans. He's been working in the fields. The horses have been kicking up all their manure and dirt on them. You could be doing your own pillowcases. You could be washing pillowcases or sheets. You could be washing baby diapers. Of course, they were cloth diapers. They weren't disposable ones.
I didn't give my bag.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Dirty. Just do it.
Me too. I have to go put my hands in.
If I do it.
Go sit to take a seat, Keziah. You're done. If you've had one chance, no more chances. Just sit and wait.
That's it. That's the old-fashioned clothespin. You just push them on. And these are the more modern ones. You're able to
I
clip
want to
them.
use the other one.
And push it down. Okay, here, do another one. Push the line out on the pulley. Okay. And we're hanging here. But see what happens. We could get it all the way to the end and get as many clothes dried as possible.
I like these. I wish I could keep it. There's a swamp behind us right there.
That's a pond. And it's been hot and muggy this year, so we've got ponds coming.
Come back, come back.
Right on next to it. Over this way, guys.
It would be funny if a baby.
You come over here so we can push out the whole
You know, it would
line.
be funny if this was a zip line for a baby. It'd be like.
Okay, down this end. Hang them on. Your clothespins are here. But this is the only way we washed and dried the clothes. The sunshine and the fresh air, the breezes. If it was a rainy day, I'd be in trouble because then it would just all have to be hung up on wooden racks on the porch in the house. Use your clothespin. Get one out. Me.
Oh, it sounds back in old school. This is cool. I like doing
He's making a line behind me.
I like doing these chores. Are we going to get to drink it?
Oh, and
No!
all right, do you want to read this, when everybody's there, do you want to read that sign to everybody? What does the yellow sign say?
Dirty water. Please do not drink it. Wash.
Right, so that means you don't want to put your hands in it, nor do you want to drink. All right, nice line behind me, please. Gentlemen, you want to join our line over here?
What is that bell?
What? Well, that's the dinner bell. You want to join the line, please? All right, just where you are. Just where you are.
There's
on
a
your
lot of
window.
fans.
Question?
If you put a clothes, do you mean like when they wash the clothes like that and they...
No, this is just for water, not to do the cleaning. All right, long ago, people did not have water in their houses, or if they did, they had what was called a pump. And the pump was designed to bring the water from way down under the ground up to the surface.
So that means it's dirty.
Well, I'll tell you a secret. It's not coming from under the ground, it's coming from this big metal
Because
tank.
it's fake.
So it's fake, yeah. So this water sits here for days and weeks at a time, so that's why it's dirty and we don't want you to touch it or drink it. Now what I'm going to have you do, if you swing your line this way please. Right now we got a snake line. Let's get a straight line over here. All right, thank you. All right, just give me a little elbow room. Can we step back a little bit? All right, you're going to make it go 1, 2, 3 times. And then you're going to join us over here with us gentlemen, okay? Pump 3 times, and then you're over here with us.
What is that thing now?
All right, give her a pump. All right, come on over.
Okay, we're going to go over to, if you're done, come over because we're going to go look at the horses.
All right, thank you.
And the air, come here, please. This one is yours. I think you have Steven's.
Three pumps and you're done. Just imagine every time you wanted a drink, or your mom washed dishes, or did laundry, this is how you had to get your water.
So you have to come out every time. That feels horrible.
Yep.
But I like this.
Well, it's fun when you do it here, but if you had to live it, it wouldn't be fun.
I know.
Everybody's doing a great
Because
job.
I went to 100 times.
Wow, what is this?
This started
Ah, okay.
Okay, Justin.
I think that was 5. I did 4.
Now, Farmer John is going to show you
Oh, I know how the water comes out because it looks up.
It kind of sucks it up.
Hey, listen. He's going to give you directions. Listen.
All right, this is the lower part of the barn here, as opposed to the upper barn. The lower part is where we keep most of our animals. The horses, the cows come in here. Over there, we have a place for the sheep at night and for our pigs. The lower barn is where we keep the animals because it's built into a hillside, and that helps insulate it, keep it a little cooler in the summertime and warmer in the wintertime. We're going to go in and say hello to Calvin and Hobbs, our two, yes.
You said your pig sweet right there by the bun. Yeah.
This is also the smellier part of the
Actually, I think we can draw it.
Wait, I love this. Oh, someone just relieved themselves.
That's a decent boy.
That's Calvin. Hobbs is over here.
That's a boy?
They're both boys.
Okay, now.
They are workhorses, and the particular breed is a Belgian horse.
Well, now I know why it smells like.
And that's why there's a lot of flies around too. All right, now we have these big kittens. These are the animals that pull our wagons, they pull our plows, they do all the heavy lifting on the farm. These are hard to ride because they're so big and broad. They're not like a thoroughbred. They keep stopping like that to go shake off the flies. That's why they do that.
You dare stop one more time.
It should stop me in place.
Is that a woman? It's a boy. It's
If you look over here up in the corner, you can see a bird's nest. That's a barn swallow sitting on her eggs. This will be her second family she's working on this year. Yeah, she has one set of baby birds, and this is the second one. She'll have two or maybe even three. He'll come flying in. They take turns. They come up here in April every year, mid-April, and then at September they take off and they fly down to Central America. So they got a long way to go. Right. That's a good memory.
I'm gonna jump when I can't see.
It's not much to see.
Jump when I pick you up.
But they work together and it hasn't hurt Hobbs any.
No, there's webs.
Oh, I'm so scary. I'm so scary.
This is where we keep the cows.
Oh, where's the cow?
Oh, they just let them out to the pasture because they were getting rather restless. And they were getting a little dangerous because they swinging their heads around. And their heads are very big and very hard. So,
Can we look at them?
probably when you leave, you'll see them in the pasture, okay? But this is where we normally put them. They'll come in from the other side. Don't go out that door. It looks like they relieve themselves on the way out. It may be a little messy there.
They're going to come this
They
way.
put their heads through here. And then we close it up like that. And that controls, they can move their head up and down, and they can even lie down.
What are we
But when we
looking
go
at?
to milk them, this is where we'll milk them.
House.
You know, it keeps them from backing out.
That's the machine to milk them to the white wire. I mean the yellow
I
wire.
believe it's
Stay
put
over
away.
here.
I don't see it right now. No.
Right there.
This? No, that's just the power cord that they use for the pump. That's the pump they will use to connect to the machine, yes. Oh, yeah. Now, this is Caroline. You'll see her out in the field. She's going to have a calf, baby calf, in a couple of months. Clarabelle is also going to have a calf in a couple of months. She's out in the field. Caraway, who's the youngest, and then Calico. Calico you can tell in the field because she has like a white star on her forehead. The other ones are pretty much just brown. And these are a special breed of cows. They're called Jersey cows. And they produce the sweetest milk of any cow, and it has the highest butterfat content. Yes? Yeah, Carly. Carly is, that's a heifer. A heifer is a young female cow that hasn't had a baby yet. And she's out in the pasture over there with Miss Schick. Miss Schick. Yeah, that's another heifer. They were born last year. But the milk of a Jersey cow is very sweet, and it's the best milk for making butter because it has so much butter fat in it. And well, that's why farmers raise cows, right? So they can make milk From the milk, they make butter. What else do they milk?
Cheese.
They milk?
Cheese yogurt.
Cheese, yogurt.
Ice cream.
Ice cream, right. They make that, yes. Chocolate milk, yeah.
Yeah, the brownie cows milk.
No, we make the chocolate milk because we put the chocolate in.
Cheese. Cheese is made out.
Cheese too? All right, now we can go over and we'll go out that door because it's a little cleaner. Yes. The thing up the ceiling? Oh, yeah, the fly strip. That's our collection of flies. And over here, I guess you guys can look over the edge.
Oh, after this one, I can see it. This is our last one.
Now, these pigs, believe it or not, were born on May 5th.
It stinks.
And when they were born, oh, now they're going outside.
One more is in. One more.
We can go around outside and look out.
Hey, don't leave.
Let's go outside and see it, all right? When they were born, they were only like 2 pounds, and they're about this big.
Listen to this, Norman. Listen to this.
All right, they were only about this big. Look how big they are a little over 2 months
They grow
later.
a pound a day, right?
Yeah,
A
they just,
pound a day they grow.
and they will eat everything. Anything you'll eat, they'll eat and then some.
They will eat.
Oh, it can get pretty strong.
Oh, wait, the nose. It's nasty. That's weird. Stop it here. I'm not doing that. One pig's going back inside.
And why do pigs wallow in the mud?
Because they're very hot, so they have to.
Right. And it also acts as the sunscreen.
Are they licking?
No, they're just rooting through it for, they're looking for bugs, grubs, worms, roots. Yeah.
Whoa. Is his heat just burning?
Yeah, that keeps it.
He just ate like 3 the crack. That's the rock. Believe in that one?
She's got to leave, so they need to come home.
Welcome to the farmhouse. As soon as everybody's up here, I'll talk to you.
I saw it in the map.
Uh-huh. Yeah, good for you for looking at the map. So this was the farmhouse where the farmer lived, who did all the work on the land. Mr. Foster, who owned the farm, lived in the great big house up there, and he worked on Wall Street, so he wasn't here every day, even though he owned the farm. Mr. Wood and his family, his wife and 4 daughters, lived here from 1918 to 1927, just about 100 years ago, and the house is set up almost exactly as it was back then on this floor. On the top floor, the modern farmer lives with his family, with his wife, and he has a modern farmhouse. So he has air conditioning and appliances and a bathroom, etc. This farmhouse, 100 years ago, did not have running water. They would take water from the pump and they would have to bring it up and put it in the sink to wash dishes. And there were many, many dishes because in addition to the family, there were at least 6 to 10 farmhands that ate here at all times. Just wait till I'm done and then I'll answer all your questions, okay? There was no electricity, so they had oil lamps like this throughout the house. No running water meant that there was no bathroom. They had an outhouse, which is kind of like a porta potty out in the yard. And even in the very cold weather or the very hot weather, they'd have to go outside to go to the bathroom. Now, I have 2 questions for you. Well, first of all, I'll answer your question. You had a question? I'm going to talk about that. We'll come back to it, okay? My 2 questions are, the first one, how about somebody raising their hand and telling me what you think the bell was used for? This is a very big, loud bell. And what was it for?
To wake up everybody.
Not an alarm clock.
The dinner bell.
You're right, it was the dinner bell. And that's because the farmhands would be working way up in the fields, And Mrs. Woods couldn't go, dinner time, nobody would hear her, so they used the dinner bell. My second question, somebody else has to answer this one, is what do you think this thing is?
A fridge.
It's a refrigerator, except we should call it an ice box. Because back then, there was no electricity. In the winter time, they would cut big blocks of ice from the pond. They put it in the box. Well, first they put it into the ice house. They pack the blocks of ice with straw and bring them in here and put them in the bottom of the ice box as they needed them. And then in this side, they put the perishables, things like milk and eggs that go bad very fast, butter, cheese, in here and keep it warm. My guess is by about this time in the summer, though, there probably was very little ice left, so I don't know how they kept things cold at that time. Except there was a stream that ran under the little building out here, the creamery. That's how they kept the milk cool. Now, to answer the question we had before, this is a milk can. Everybody, as you go into the house, can come by and look at it if you can't see it right now. It's a big metal milk can. After the cows were milked, this was a dairy farm, they would put the milk into these big metal containers, and they would put them down in the stream under the ice house, under the creamery, and then the milk would keep cool till they either used it as milk or they made it into cheese or butter. Yes?
All the ice is so close to the door.
Oh, why is it so close to the door? Because in the wintertime it would have been cooler out here. And in there was a stove and there was heat, so it was better to keep the ice box out here. Yes, question?
I think I know how they take the ice out now.
Yes, those are ice pops. You're absolutely right. They take the big blocks of ice and put them in the bottom of the refrigerator. Okay, now as we go in the house, everybody can come look at the ice box, okay, if you haven't seen it, and look at the milk can. Any other questions? Anybody else? You guys are good with questions. I like questions. That's a bird's nest, and in the spring when I was here, there were little tiny birds in there, and their mom feeding them. Okay, excuse me, I'm going to go through the door. The last person in, could you just close the door so we keep it a little cool in here? Okay. Come on in the kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen. Okay, everybody come on over this way, except stand down here. Don't stand up here, and I'll tell you about the stove. Okay? Okay, and while you're in the farmhouse, everybody listening up, please don't touch anything. Everything here is very old, okay? We're going to be making butter, and we'll be doing it with the churns that are on the table, but don't touch anything, okay, please? Okay, can we have the door closed? This is a pantry where they stored pots and pans and kettles, and if you look up there, you'll see that they have canning jars filled with fruits and things for the winter. Okay, when everybody's nice and quiet, I'll tell you about the stove. The stove was not electric. Everybody looking this way? The stove used either wood or coal. Those are pieces of coal. They would put the coal or the wood in the bottom, light it, get the stove very hot, and then Mrs. Wood would bake in here. This looks like just like a little oven, like you have at home. And she would make bread and muffins and cakes and anything that you needed to put in the oven. She probably cooked the meat in here too. There's a thermometer on it, just like your mother has a thermometer. And up here, there's the stove top where she would put the kettles, the frying pans, the big pots to cook. She also heated up water for the bath, and she heated up water to boil the laundry. The last step before the laundry was put out to dry was actually it was brought into the house, put into great big pots to boil and to get sanitized, to get all the germs out. Okay, so that was the stove. If you look around the kitchen, you'll see some things that are very familiar. They had a baby, so they had a high chair. They had a sink, they had a drain board, they had pots and pans and coffee pots and graters and dishes and spices. But what I'm going to talk about now and what we're going to do is to learn how butter is made from cream. So here's what we need. We need the group divided into two. Are there two napkins?
Yes, mug first steak right over here in front.
Okay, and could you stand in a line? Maybe over there. And the other group, Stay the other group. The other rockers. Rockers? Okay, you should be over here in a line. Starting here, you can stand here, and then one at a time in a line, okay? Are you in this group, the rockers? Yeah, just step back. Everybody step back. Everybody step back. Turn this way. Okay, turn back. Okay. All right, we'll let them. Okay, we're going to need a counselor to hold on to over here. One of the teachers, please. Somebody to hold on over here. Okay. All right, and in a few minutes, we're going to have everybody churn butter. But first, I want to tell you how butter was made, okay? They would bring in the big milk cans full of milk, and they would pour them into here a bit at a time. And they would actually let the milk sit at room temperature until it got a little sour. Have you ever smelled sour milk? When milk's just turning sour, that's when it actually makes very good butter. So they would let it come to room temperature for a number of hours, and the cream in the milk would rise to the top because the cream is lighter than the milk. Then they would skim off the cream, and that's where we get the expression skim milk. The milk that was left in the bottom was a very thin milk, like what we call fat-free or skim milk. The cream was poured into these jugs, and then in order to make butter, you have to churn the cream for about 30 or 40 minutes, which is like more than one TV show. So when you come to the farm, it's fun. You get to see the animals, you get to make butter, you get to milk our wooden cow Woody. But the children who lived here worked very hard. Life was not easy. They sometimes had to get up at 4 or 5 a.m. to milk the cows. They had to help their mother cook in here. They had to do loads and loads and stacks of dishes. They had to help cleaning. They had to take care of the animals and watch the animals. And even making butter wasn't fun for them like it is for you. So here's how it would work. After the butter was in here and churned, the fat particles would come together and lump together, and you'd start to get butter. Then you'd open this up and you'd pour the butter into here, and the little ball of butter, you'd keep working with the paddles to form into a ball. They didn't have sticks of butter like we have. The butter would be made into balls. And 1 quart of cream, a quart is, you know the big gallons of milk that your mom probably buys? The little skinniest bottle of milk is called a quart. And 1 quart of cream makes 4 sticks of butter. And they would make 40 or 50 pounds of butter most days except for Sundays. So after the butter was formed into a ball, they'd keep rinsing it off, they'd put salt on it, and then they would stamp it. And this is a little picture of a cow. This was the Foster family stamp. And you would stamp your butter because they bring the butter down to the farmer's market in Morristown and other towns, and they would sell the butter. And people would say, oh, I like that really yellow butter with the cow on it last week. I'm going to get that butter again. So this was how they could identify which farm the butter came from. All right, so everybody's going to have a turn, and we're going to have your teacher and I will hold the top. You're going to turn it towards you and count slowly to 5, and then the person in back of you will get to go next, okay? And then we're going to go into the parlor when we're done. So when we're done, you can actually go in there and just sit down. Don't sit on the furniture, please, but just sit on the rug, and I'll tell you a little about the parlor next, okay? All right, so my first customer here. So turn it the other way toward you. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. Okay, next. Towards you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. Let's go. We're churning butter. Towards you. This way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. Next. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can go next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to squish together on the floor there, because I don't think there's enough. Mrs. Woods made all the clothes for the family, and she used that sewing machine over there, a Singer sewing machine, a very old-fashioned one. No electricity. It had a foot pedal called a treadle, and she would pump it up and down with her feet to make the wheel go so that she could use the sewing machine. When I'm all done, I'll answer questions, okay? These are pictures of Mr. and Mrs. Woods. That's Edward Woods and his wife, Agnes.
They were the ones who lived here 1918 to 1927. There's 3 of their daughters up in the picture here with clothes that their mother made for them. They're on a sled, and there's snow, and they're actually right on the property here, because in the back you can see the big picture of the house called the Willows. I have a question for you, but I'll answer your questions first. Some people had questions, so we'll answer a couple of questions. Yes? You had a question? Yes?
Did they go sleighing on Sunday?
Yeah, I think they did. They probably did, because they didn't have much other free time to relax. So they probably went sledding on Sundays and other times when they could, when there was enough snow. Also, I don't know if you've been to the carriage barn, but up above, as you enter the carriage barn, there's a big sleigh. So they had, you know, one-horse open sleigh, like from Jingle Bells, that they would go around the property on when it was snowy. Other questions? Yes?
Is that man sick upstairs?
Oh, no. There's a modern farmer who lives upstairs. This man was here way over, he would be like 150 years old if he were alive now. He died a long, long time ago. Yes?
Who is that family right there?
Oh, that's the family when it was grown up, actually. So as you go out of the room, if you want to look at that, you can. All right, but here's my question for you. I said that they didn't have much free time, but there were things that the children did inside the house to amuse themselves, to have a good time. There was no TV, no computers, no video games, no movies. So my question is, besides reading, what else could they have done to have a good time inside the house, to relax and not just sleep, but to actually play inside the house? What could they have done? What do you think? Yes?
They could have danced and sang.
Good, good for you. I don't know if they danced, but they definitely sang, because there's an old-fashioned piano in the other room, and the Woods girls all took piano lessons and learned how to play the piano. So they probably at least played the piano and sang, maybe danced. That's a good answer. What else?
Maybe they played with dolls, made their own dolls.
Yeah, they probably could have bought dolls back then. And I'm betting their mother probably made them a few doll clothes when she had time. So they played with dolls because they were girls. What else?
Sometimes, wait, I got a question.
Oh, okay, we'll come back to your question, but let's answer what else they did to have a good time. Yes?
Play checkers?
Yes, they played games, and in fact, when you go up and see where the corn husks are, they'd actually cut checkers out of corn husks and play with them on a board. So they played board games. There used to be a set of Lincoln Logs here. They played Lincoln Logs too. Some of you know Lincoln Logs? Do you know them? Yes? Yeah, they talked and sang and probably played guessing games or maybe hand clap games, things like that. They probably jumped rope, but that they would have done outside. Okay, somebody had a question. Who had the question? Do you remember it? I hope you didn't forget it. Yes?
Sometimes in the back, two ladies dance.
Yeah.
For the people.
Yeah, yes, to entertain people. They would have danced. Alrighty, let's go into the dining room and I'll tell you a little bit about the food and what there is that much room for everybody. So, and you shouldn't sit on the chairs.
No, you can't.
Okay, don't sit on the chairs because the chairs are very full.
That's it, everyone.
Okay, this will just take a minute, but I'll tell you a little bit about the food and what went on here. Okay, everybody listen up because I'm almost done. I've been here a long time.
Yeah, we're ready. You can speed it up. We're ready.
Mrs. Woods did a lot of cooking because she cooked for her family of 6 and she cooked for the people who worked on the farm. And there were always at least 6 men, very hungry men, sometimes as many as 12 or 14 men. And the people ate in shifts. First, the farm hands ate because they were the hungriest. They were out working on the farm. And then when they were done, her family would eat, and then lastly, her husband would eat. There's the piano that I told you about. It doesn't open, but that's where the girls learn to play piano. Over here is an old-fashioned desk that Mr. Woods would sit at, and he would write up all information about the animals for the owner of the farm, Mr. Foster. And Mr. Foster was lucky, but Mr. Woods knew how to read and write because a lot of farmers way back then didn't know how to read and write. All right, so we're in the dining room, and the question is, what did they eat? Some of the things they ate are like things that we eat. Some things are a bit different. So they didn't have chickens here, so in the morning they would have had eggs, but they often ate something called biscuit biscuits and gravy. And we eat biscuits, but we don't usually eat them for breakfast. But they ate them for breakfast. Then at lunchtime, the girls would be at school. They actually walked from here to Morristown to school most days. And they either got their food at school, or perhaps sometimes they might have had a kind of sandwich kind of thing called a pesty to bring with them. And definitely the farmhands would have taken pesties up to eat up in the fields. Pesties looked like apple turnovers, but they weren't filled with apples or cherries or blueberries. They were filled with meat and vegetables and potatoes. And they were a kind of sandwich because back then they didn't have Ziploc bags or anything like that. So they would put the pesties in their pockets. Maybe they'd roll in a newspaper or something if they had it. Otherwise, they'd just go in their pockets. They'd bring some kind of a drink, and they'd eat the pesties up in the fields. And then at night, they had pretty big, heavy meals. They ate a lot of roast beef, a lot of chicken, they'd have potatoes, and they'd have lots of nice, fresh vegetables and salads that came from all of the gardens here on the farm. So they ate a lot of the things that they raised on the farm. They also probably ate a lot of pork because they raised pigs here, and I imagine they ate pork as well. All right, so there's a little room that was a mud room. It was also used for drying clothing in the bad weather. It was used for drying out beans and seeds. Some of the seeds for planting, some seeds like pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds for eating. And that's about it for the farmhouse. So I'll answer a few questions, and then you can continue on with your tour. Or I don't know whether you're
Next stop is lunch.
Yes. That sounds like a good idea. Yes? Question?
Is there something they use to kill the pigs to have pork?
They wouldn't have slaughtered their own pigs. They would have brought the pigs down to some place where there was a butcher who would take care of the meat for them. You know, a lot of times when children come here, they ask, what are the names of the pigs? What are the names of the chickens? And the answer is they weren't named because, and even what's the name of the cats? They weren't named because they weren't pets. They were farm animals. They were either raised to be used for something, like the chickens to lay eggs, or the pigs to make meat, or the cats were used to kill mice. So they weren't pets. They didn't come into the house. They didn't have names. They were actually just farm animals. Yes?
Kind of like helpers?
Yeah, the animals helped, you know, they were necessary help on the farm. Yeah, they were used for food or whatever. Okay, any other questions anybody has about the farmhouse? All right, well, you have a good lunch. Try to stay cool, and thanks for coming on a hot day.
Boys and girls, say thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Must be real scary. They might have real ghosts too.
There's no such thing.
These are museums, they're supposed to be quiet. Did the other ones follow you here?
I saw this next to my dad's door. We can sit on this. The middle.
Nice, don't be me. Just take a picture. I'm here fixing your work. It's okay. You got all those? Go ahead.
Remember we talked about transportation and how to get down. And how this cars and trucks. That's it. Show some respect. This is how they're going around. The horse is hooked up here. This is a horse and buggy. I know we're going to have an opportunity to go on.
All of us?